Hey everyone, I've slid into your recommendations to bring you an update on Shao's armoured scaling. I've recently discovered there is a way to get 50% armoured damage scaling off Shao's down back 3. My inspiration came from the comments saying, "But Barry, Shao does apply 50% damage scaling if you do this instead." But when I came to test it, I was like, what do you mean? I'm not getting 50% scaling. But it turns out I have found a second condition that they must have inadvertently been doing that I wasn't. But before I discuss this, let me once again go through the standard armoured scaling stuff first. Unarmoured grab-like moves on interrupt apply 0% scaling. Unarmoured grab-like moves when uninterrupted apply some scaling, but it varies on a case-by-case basis. It is usually either 15%, 20%, or 33%. And armoured moves apply 50% scaling regardless of whether the move is interrupted or not. And now, onto Shao scaling stuff. Shao's unarmoured grab-like move, that being down back 3, on interrupt applies 0% scaling. His unarmoured grab-like when uninterrupted applies 20% scaling. His armoured grab-like on interrupt applies 0% scaling. His armoured grab-like when uninterrupted applies 20% scaling. And now, here's the newly discovered stuff. For his armoured grab-like on interrupt while being hit through armour, guess what scaling that applies? That's right, it's 50%. Nah, just kidding, it's actually 0%, because this is Shao we're dealing with. But when you do that uninterrupted, that's when you get 50% scaling. And that, from my understanding, is the only way to get 50% scaling with that move. But don't just take my word for it. To show this in action, I will now showcase a simple Shao-Darius combo under 4 different conditions. 1 on an interrupted down back 3, 1 uninterrupted, an interrupted on armoured hit, and an uninterrupted on armoured hit. Pay attention to the damage values of the Darius ambush and the standing 2 afterwards. If down back 3 is applied 0% scaling, these moves will do 50 and 24 damage respectively. On 20% scaling, they'll do 40 and 19.2 damage, and on 50% scaling, they'll do 25 and 12 damage. So yeah, Shao appears to be the only character whose armoured scaling is dependent on whether the move is interrupted or uninterrupted. For everyone else, it doesn't matter, you will always get the 50% damage scaling. And for your interest, you need that same condition to get 50% on the axeless version of down back 3, but good luck comboing after that.